obviously firstly just ask you then how osteoporosis has affected you and when you first realised that you had it and how it's progressed.
Well, when I was first diagnosed with it, I had no idea that I was suffering from it at all. I was an inpatient and I'd had a DEXA scan taken as routine, and when it came back they discovered that I'd already lost 50% of my bone density, which was an awful lot. So it just shows how far you can get without even knowing you've got a problem. The very most I could say I suffered from at that time was slight lower back pain, but I was active. You know, I would do lots of exercise, and it wasn't affecting me at all in my everyday life. But after that diagnosis, it gradually started to get worse. My back deteriorated, so I had to see my GP, and the painkillers got stronger and stronger and stronger until it was sort of morphine that I was taking. And at that point my mobility started to become severely compromised as well. I couldn't walk any distance. It got from being able to walk to the end of the street or around one shop to just being able to put around the house, which is the situation I'm in now. And since 2001, which was my last inpatient admission, I've been in a wheelchair because of the pain and the weakness of my bones and the danger of damage to them.
Right. Can I ask what happened on your 30th birthday as well?
Yes, on my 30th birthday I always joke that my big present that year was a disabled sticker for the car, which isn't exactly what most 30-year-olds would be hoping to receive for their birthday. Especially not at Christmas, mine's Christmas Eve. But it was very useful, and still continues to be very useful. Indeed, now we have a car through the Motability scheme, which provides us with a good, reliable, large car which can take the wheelchair and everything. But it's not the way you want to get a nice car either.
And as the disease has progressed, Deborah, I mean, when you had your first fall, what happened when you went to see the doctors after the first fall? And tell us about how, you know, the slightest thing can make such a difference.
Yeah, the first time I fell down the stairs and I broke my shoulder. And at my age, you wouldn't normally expect a fall like that to cause a breakage. But anyway, I was taken to casualty, and when I went in to see the doctor, he looked at my x-ray and he was looking down at his desk, and when he finally looked up to see me, he sort of was physically taken aback, because from my x-ray he expected to see a sort of 90-year-old woman. My bones were that sort of transparent on the x-ray plate. And in the early stages of osteoporosis, you can't even tell on a normal x-ray. It needs a DEXA scan. But as it progresses, your bones do become so wispy and fine that they become very pale on x-ray, and as I say, you expected to see a much older person. And indeed, my bones, I've been told that my bones are equivalent of someone who would be past 100 probably now. I mean, the last time I had my bones done, I'd lost 70% of my bone density. And you start to find that it's not just in falls that are causing fractures, although I have had falls and I've broken both hips, both shoulders, several arms, more arms than I have. And but the other thing is the fractures you get just from everyday movements. a sneeze can cause broken ribs, or just reaching for something, or picking something heavy up, or bending over, you know, that they cause stresses on your bones that normally would be inconsequential. But in someone with such delicate bones, they can just easily break. And quite often I've had broken ribs, which there's nothing you can do about except put up with the pain and wait for them to heal. But it has just been from such things, just reaching out for something or bending over, picking things up.
And as well as the physical restraints that it's put on your life, you know, with being confined to a wheelchair now, it must have stopped so much what you've wanted to do generally in your life.
Well, yes, I mean, to start off with, I was training as a doctor, and that was the thing I'd always, I mean, I loved medicine. I'd always wanted to be a doctor from being tiny. So it's highly frustrating not being able to have done that. And of course, a lot of my friends are excuse me, a lot of my friends are doctors, and that's a mixed blessing. And it's lovely to keep in touch with them, but it's also quite poignant and quite painful at times. But just the general things in life, travel, I mean, I can't travel the way I would like to now. Even a day trip out takes major arrangements. Well, there's just so many things, and it stops. It gets in the way of your normal friendships. You can't do the things that you would normally do with friends your own age. Sort of going out, just even going out to the pub is a major sort of exercise in logistics. And friends tend to just dry up eventually because you've got nothing in common, and you end up becoming very, very isolated. In fact, I mean, my life's a lot better of late because I've had a really good care package put in place by the PCT, and so I have carers come in every day for a different amount of hours, varying from about 4 or 5 hours to up to about 8 hours a day. So that's at least improved my contact with my contact with other people, even though it is carers. I mean, they do get to be like friends, but some of them get to be like family. But it's not what you would expect for yourself
When you're so young.
when you're so young.
I know that your osteoporosis has been brought on because of anorexia, but when a lot of other young girls are getting it because of fad diets, extreme exercise regimes, when you see those on TV and in magazines, how does that make you feel, knowing what they're letting themselves in for in some cases?
Well, I mean, I do get angry and frustrated at the various media that are promoting the diets and exercise and things, but I get very sad for the whole situation that people feel the need for something in their life that they think this is going to give them. But most of all, I wish I could just warn them to be careful and think twice. I mean, healthy eating is one thing, and sticking to the sort of government guidelines sounds very boring, but they are basically the right thing. I mean, you'll get celebrity diets quoted in magazines, and they'll say they're on a healthy diet, they're not dieting, they just have no problem maintaining their weight, and it's all wonderful. And you find out they're doing sort of 2 hours of exercise a day, and their diet consists of like a spoonful of porridge, a bit of chicken and some vegetables and some salad, and then a bit of fish and some steamed veg for evening meal. And if it comes to 800 calories, I'd be surprised. Most anorexics would be sort of happy on a diet like that at some point in their illness.
So I suppose is your message that it's really not worth it? And
it isn't worth it at all. and you don't realise the damage you're doing yourself. I mean, you may get small signs which may not be so small for a woman, like losing your hair. That's a good one with extreme dieting. But the big symptoms that are going to come on, the damage that you're doing to yourself, it's so insidious and so silent. Osteoporosis itself is a very, very silent disease, and often the first time people are aware of it is if they have a slight stumble, put their hand out to stop them and they've broken their wrist. So then it gets investigated and they've got osteoporosis, and there's not much they can do about that for the rest of their life.
And while in some people things can be done to help slow osteoporosis down, with you, Deborah, kind of what's the future for you with osteoporosis?
Well, there's not much that can be done for me now. I've had various treatments with not much success, and now it's just a case of stopgap measures like taking calcium and vitamin D. I take a high dose of vitamin D every day. It's only available on prescription. But what were you asking me?
Obviously, health treatment for your osteoporosis.
Yeah, there's really nothing much can be done. It's just a case of living with it and working my way around it as much as I can.
That's good, thank you. Okay, thank you. Are you okay with that?